1 in 3. That's how many American men will face physical violence, sexual assault, or stalking by an intimate partner. 1 in 3 women worldwide will endure physical or sexual abuse, most often by someone they know. But domestic abuse isn't just bruises. It's manipulation, it's fear, it's control that seeps into every part of your life. I'm Ingrid Dutton, and I survived it. Then I created 1 in 3 so no one else has to suffer in silence. Each week, we break that silence together. Occasionally joined by survivors, loved ones, and experts, we talk about the pain, yes, but also about the healing, resilience, and the fight to reclaim your life. This podcast is more than awareness, it's a lifeline. And a reminder, you are seen, you are heard, you are never alone. Search for 1 in 3 wherever you get your podcasts, because every voice matters and every story deserves to be heard.
Survivor stories are always interesting and always educational on how people get out of certain situations. So today, again, we are going to go over How Did I Not Die? Part 3. Hi, sister.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm Ingrid.
Crap. I'm Jessica.
This is our podcast. No, I'm not going to let you do it. This is our podcast, Another Situation.
Welcome, friends.
Welcome. And we tell stories.
Mm-hmm.
And like Jessica's... That's it?
Yep, that's all I got today.
Okay. Well, and like Jessica said in the intro, these ones are stories of survival.
So I was actually thinking about this when I was thinking about topics for what I'm going to choose. And I was like, there has to have been something when I was a child of like something silly that I did as a child, or, you know, just something that didn't make sense. And so I couldn't think of anything. The only thing that crossed my mind is I remember being terrified of the dark, and I would hear a noise outside our house. And we lived out in the country on about 17 acres. I think our nearest neighbor was half a mile down the road, maybe? Ingrid?
I think so.
About half a mile? Yeah. Okay. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to the show.
I'm Jessica. I'm talking. And
where am I? What are we doing?
One night I heard a noise outside our window, and I must have been like 8. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be brave. I'm not going to wake up mom and dad. I'm going to go inspect outside the house. So I went outside the house, and I was so terrified that I was like, you know what? Just run around the house really fast 2 times. And so like, if someone would have saw me in the middle of the night, this little 8-year-old running around our house as fast as I could to try to see what this noise was. And then I went back into my room and went to bed.
And nobody knew?
No one knew until now. I've never told anyone that before. But like, what if it was a murderer or something terrible, or a coyote even, you know, or some kind of animal that could have eaten a little 8-year-old?
A bear?
A bear. Yeah. So that was
a possum.
That's not funny. Possums are repulsive creatures. Yeah.
Well, we need to tell that one now.
No, we don't. So that was the only thing I could think of from like childhood, of something that I did that was just silly and didn't make sense. But in my little child brain, it made sense to do it.
There were so many things that you did that didn't make sense. And you still do that don't make sense.
That I don't know. I'm not going to argue with that, because that might be true. Makes sense to me, though.
So quickly, the possum story. For whatever weirdo reason, Jessica and I loved spying when we were little.
That's because Dad taught us how to spy and army crawl and hide behind things.
Yes. So we would, sneak out to our living room while our parents were watching TV and, I don't know, just sit there.
We would.
I don't know. And just try not to get caught. But there was one night when Jessica was in her room laying on her bed, and she had a little twin size mattress. Mm-hmm. And I snuck into her room and crawled underneath her bed and put my feet and my hands on the bottom of her bed and started pushing them like The Exorcist. And she ran out screaming, and I quick jumped out from underneath her bed. And
It was
back to my
terrifying.
room.
It was terrifying.
Like nothing happened. And I think I came out and I was like, what's going on?
Academy Award winner here.
And who did you bring? Was it mom or was it dad?
It was dad.
And she was like, there's a possum under my bed.
Because they terrified me. Possums terrified me.
A tiny possum was moving. Did he think you were crazy? Did I admit right away?
No, I don't know. Actually, I have no idea what dad thought. He like looked in my closet to see if there was a possum in my closet when there wasn't one under my bed. I was like, I swear,
and
Dad,
I think
there was one there.
And he's like, why do you think there's a possum under your bed? I think you're like, because my mattress. I think I was cracking up the whole time.
Yeah, I think he caught on that it was you before I did. That bed was awesome.
That was funny.
It had like planets and spaceships on it. It was so cool. Anyways, so silly things from your childhood.
So you survived a possum and a potential bear.
Being a weird little 8-year-old running around outside our house twice.
Gosh, do you remember when we were outside? I think I was like laying out or something.
Yes.
And Dad called? No, there were helicopters.
Yeah, you came out and then I came out with you. No, I think you came in, you're like, there's a helicopter flying over our house. Like, I think it's trying. Sorry, this is really like narcissistic of us.
Oh, yeah.
Just trying to spy on us while we're laying out.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Narcissistic teens.
Yes.
Of course.
No, I remember
We're
that.
so gorgeous. It's a paparazzi, always. My whole life, I've been plagued by the paparazzi.
And helicopters flying over your house. Yeah, I remember that. Like someone robbed, I think, Luigi's.
Well, yeah. So we went inside the house and then Dad just happened to call and was like, lock all the doors, lock all the windows, don't let anyone in. And we were like, why? So we did. And then all of a sudden, again, you said we lived in the middle of nowhere. All these police cars. Do you remember?
They're coming down our road. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We were watching.
I had nightmares about that person that I never saw.
Did you really?
Oh, yes. I would have dreams that she was peeking in my window.
I remember having a mentally ill patient in our garage laying on the garage floor. That actually gives me nightmares.
Yeah. Well, and the mom just came out and was like, what are you doing here? Go back.
Yes.
And so he did.
I think that's maybe how me and you both got our clinical approach to people.
What are you doing?
That instance.
What's all this?
You go now. You shoo. Okay. Do you want to go first or you want me to?
I don't care.
I'm drinking scotch tonight, so maybe I should go first.
You better go.
Okay.
Or do we want to turn this into an
dear Lord
comedy edition?
Well, okay, because there are Italian words.
Ooh, I'm going first. Let me go first.
Son of a gun. Not too many Italian, though.
You're welcome, listeners.
I'm sorry, listeners.
Okay. I believe you've probably heard this story. I think maybe a lot of people have heard this one. But this is the story of Juliane Koepcke.
Shut up.
Why?
Are we doing the same story?
You're not doing Juliane Koepcke, are you? That's not Italian.
No, it's not. I'm just kidding.
I'm like, you said it was Italian. There's no Italian.
Dang it. I wish I would have said the Italian part. I could have gotcha.
And I apologize for all the ambient sounds of 3 dogs in my background in case you hear anything. So that's that. That's it. Stop it. Get your own podcast.
Aw.
Oh, one thing I wanted to say, that last episode, I don't know if we're going to keep this part in or not, but listeners, there was probably a good solid 30 to 45 minutes of pure laughter cut out of our last episode. And I would have kept a lot of it if we didn't sound like we had been smoking 10 packs a day for the last 80 years.
Oh, no. Did we?
Yes.
Oh. Nothing like a little scratch in your throat.
No, it was... Oh, no.
It was, that was probably one of my favorite episodes to record. That was hilarious.
Hopefully somebody else thought it was funny and not just us. Just one.
Kara,
we know. Come on. We know it. I don't hear her laughing. She's not laughing.
I don't either. Where is she?
Come on. Okay. All right. So Juliane Koepcke was born on October 10th, 1954 in Lima, Peru to German parents. Her father, Hans Wilhelm, was a biologist, and her mother, Maria, was an ornithologist.
Oh, the birds. Study of the birds, right?
Study of the birds. Oh, didn't Ed Dickey teach you that?
Oh, that's a laugh, isn't it?
That's it. It was you.
No, Nadiki did not teach me that.
Okay. The couple moved to Peru in order to study wildlife. The family left Lima when Juliane was 14. Her parents established a Penguana, which was a research station in the Amazon rainforest. At that time, Juliane learned survival techniques. At the persistence of educational authorities, she had to return to the school system and take examinations. After graduating, she had plans to become a zoologist, just like her parents. Oh. And let me break there for a second to say I got the information for this from BBC News, Wikipedia, historydaily.org, and the New York Times. Despite disapproval from Hans Wilhelm, on Christmas Eve, Juliane and her mother boarded an 86-passenger Lanza flight bound for Pucallpa to eventually meet up with her father in Penguana. I'm doing okay.
I have no idea if you are or not.
Diana, I know you don't listen to this, but I'm going to have to text you to listen to this episode. You're from Peru. Let me know.
I have a Peruvian friend too. I'll see if she can educate you.
The airline had a poor reputation, so he preferred something else. However, after postponing the flight from the 19th or the 20th, Lanza was the only availability left for the family to be reunited in time for the holiday. So originally, Juliane's mom wanted to book a flight on the 19th or the 20th, but then Juliane's graduation ceremony was on December 23rd, so she wanted to do the ceremony. So they weren't able to fly out until the 24th, and they wanted to be together for Christmas. Let's see. So after close to a 7-hour delay, because of course then that day the flights were delayed, Juliane took her seat in 19F, and her mother was seated. What?
Seated?
No alcohol. And no Italian. Her mom was sitting next to her. How about that? The flight was supposed to be less than an hour
across the aisle
long.
Or like next to her in the seat?
Right next to her.
Oh, okay.
So it was a row of 3.
Oh.
So let's see. The flight was supposed to be less than an hour long. About 25 minutes into the flight, however, the small plane flew into a strong thunderstorm. With the turbulence, the plane began to bump around. The overhead compartments busted open, throwing Christmas gifts, Christmas cakes, and luggage all around. People began to panic. Juliane heard her mother say, "Hopefully this goes all right." And holding her mother's hand, the 17-year-old then watched out the window as a bolt of lightning struck the plane's right wing. This sent the plane into a complete nosedive. So now you can hear the roaring engines, people screaming hysterically, crying hysterically. But Juliane was able to hear her mother mutter, "That is the end. It's all over."
Oh my gosh.
And that's the last thing she ever heard her mom say. Suddenly, the screaming stopped, and Juliane could no longer hear the plummeting motor of the plane. All she heard was the wind. She realized, as she was still strapped to her seat, that she was no longer in the plane. had broken apart, leaving her to soar through the air in only her row of seats. She said, recalling that day, she had not left the plane, but the plane left her, and she lost consciousness. When she awoke, Juliane was still strapped to her seat, and she was on the floor, like the ground floor, in the middle of the Peruvian forest. She had fallen nearly 10,000 feet or 2 miles.
Holy crap.
While sustaining some injuries, she could have been much worse off. She had a concussion, a deep gash in her right arm and calf, a broken collarbone, and one eye was swollen.
That's it?
Later, she would find out she had a torn ligament in her knee as well. She passed out again and didn't wake up until the next morning. When she began to move, she realized she had lost one sandal and her glasses, and she is nearsighted. She was only wearing the one sandal and a short dress as she looked up at the canopy of the forest. Airplanes, presumably search planes, were heard overhead, but she couldn't see them. She yelled for her mother, but no one, except for the sounds of the jungle, answered. She was able to find a bag of sweets in some of the plane wreckage, which would be her only food for the duration of her journey. She knew to find water, as that would be the safest route to take. Her father had taught her that small streams run to larger streams, which run to larger rivers, which eventually bring you to civilization. Carefully trekking along, she would stick out her foot with a sandal to assure she would not be stepping on anything. The Amazon rainforest is full of venomous snakes and spiders. The river was home to large caimans and stingrays that would lash out with their venomous tails if stepped on.
What is a caiman, a fish? What's a caiman?
Nope. Caiman is like a crocodile.
Oh.
But I guess it's like they're cousins.
Okay.
And so she continued to
Is that where the Cayman Islands got their name from?
Well, this caiman is spelled C-A-I-M-A-N.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. Why would anyone want to go there if it's full of caimans?
That's what I was just wondering.
Let's go to Alligator Islands.
Strap our meat to ourselves.
See what happens. And so she continued to walk, wade, and swim for 4 days. She knew the rays would rest in the shallow water, so she chose to wade in deeper parts while taking note of the piranhas.
Oh my gosh.
The
what
days
was she
were
doing taking note of them? Like, oh, there's one that could bite me? Or
Well, so because of her education, she knew that caimans most of the time did not attack humans. She knew that piranhas in moving water didn't really do like their little feeding frenzy. I think it was more still water.
Okay.
I might have made that up. I don't know.
That sounds good, though.
Okay. Then we will rule it as fact. Okay.
I rule it a Nadiki.
Nadiki says facts. The days were hot and humid, and it rained multiple times a day. The nights were cold, especially in a short dress. The 4th day, she heard the sounds of a landing king vulture. Recalling things she learned while studying in the rainforest, she knew the vulture would only be around decaying flesh. She came upon a row of 3 dead bodies, all still strapped to their seats.
Oh.
They were buried nearly 3 feet headfirst into the ground in the course of the impact.
Oh my gosh. So they were upside down?
They were upside down, so their feet were up. She was afraid one of them may be her mother, so she checked the toes, and the toes were painted, and her mother never painted her toes.
Okay.
And I read that she felt relief, but then she immediately felt guilty.
Right.
That she was relieved.
I know the story, but I don't remember any of the details.
Juliane carried on drinking water from the river as needed. Her parents taught her that so much of the vegetation in the rainforest was poisonous, so she refrained from eating anything else. And that bag of candy was long gone. She began to hallucinate. One morning, she woke with blood on her back, and she had 2nd-degree burns from walking in the river. She found a gross out warning. She found maggots in the wound on her arm.
Ugh.
On the 10th day, she couldn't stand up, so she made it to the river and just floated. Somehow, she came upon a boat. Thinking at first she was hallucinating, she reached out and she touched it. So this is, you have to think, we're deep into the Peruvian rainforest. We're on, I'm not sure if this is the Amazon River. Probably not quite yet, but maybe leading to it. But so this is just like a small little canoe type boat. This isn't like a yacht from all the numerous fancy cruises that happen there. Realizing this boat would be another person's only vehicle to more civilization, she didn't take it. So I think a lot of people would think, let me just take this and go. Instead, she noticed a path leading to a hut with a palm leaf roof. So she went up to the hut, and while there, she found a liter of gasoline next to the hut. And one time, her
okay,
you know this, right?
No, I think so.
Okay, so gross out again. Her father once used kerosene on a dog's wound that was festered with maggots. So, well, I don't know if it was festered with maggots, but it was a similar type infection. Mm-hmm. So she decided to attempt to do the same thing with the gasoline. And it worked. And she was able to count approximately 30 maggots.
This girl is so brave and so sweet.
Like 17.
And not
17
taking a boat after you've been out in the wilderness for 10 days?
Yes. The next morning, she heard the voice of several men. Walking out of the hut, she was so happy to see them. They initially thought she was a Yamanjabut, a hybrid of a water dolphin and a white-skinned blonde woman.
Oh my goodness.
She was able to explain who she was in Spanish. The men treated her wounds and gave her food, and the next day they took her to a more inhabited area where she was then airflighted. She was reunited with her father, who then began to frantically search for news of his wife. Once Juliane recovered from her wounds, she joined the search parties to try to find the rest of the passengers, knowing it was most likely bodies. Right. Unfortunately, they found her mother's body on January 12th, and there was evidence that she too initially survived the crash, but succumbed to her wounds a few days later. And one thing that's terribly sad is that Juliane said, I hate to think of what her last days must have been like. And you know what? Now that I
probably worrying about her. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, worrying about, like, in pain, freaked out, but then you're freaking out because where's my daughter? Mm-hmm. What happened to her? And Juliane was an only child. Not that is, well, it does kind of, I think, make a difference.
It does. So insert moral of the story for this one, row 19, seat F is a good seat to sit in. Or row 19, because if her mom survived it too.
Yeah, that's true. So she, Juliane went back to Germany and fully recovered. Let's see, she studied biology at the University of Kiel, graduated in 1980. Then she received a doctorate from Ludwig Maximilian University of Munich.
Jeez. And
she went back to Peru to conduct research in mammalogy, specializing in bats. Her thesis, ecological study of a bat colony in the tropical rainforest of Peru, was published in 1987. And in 1989, she married Koepcke-Diller, who is an entomologist who specializes in parasitic wasps.
Interesting. Yeah. I watched a Netflix show on wasps the other day.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ew. Oh, gosh, there is a parasitic wasp that, it's pretty gross.
They're all gross.
They kill, there's hornworms, I think, here in Tennessee that will, like, eat your entire tomato plants. And the wasp, does it lay the eggs inside, or are there little embryos?
Ugh.
Ooh, perhaps we should get the Supreme Court to make that decision if the eggs are embryos.
We had wasps. Do you remember this in our ground? Do you remember I'd have to wake up super early in Washington and I'd have to spray wasp spray in the holes in our ground because there was wasps burrowing in our soil in our backyard.
Ew.
We had holes everywhere.
That's creepy.
We couldn't even play outside.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
No, it was horrible. Sorry.
Following the death of her father, Juliane took over as director of Penguana in 2000. And she now goes by Dr. Juliane Diller. And I don't know when this was. I didn't put down the published date for this, so I don't know if it's now. I think she's retired. But at one point, she served as the librarian at the Bavarian State Collection of Zoology in Munich. Munich.
Oh, those German words.
And she wrote an autobiography, When I Fell from the Sky, in 2011. And, oh gosh, I didn't put this down. So there was I think there were 2 movies, but one of them was a little bit of a betterly done.
Oh my gosh. Betterly, huh?
Betterly done. Oh, in 1998, director Werner Herzog released, I guess, a movie titled Wings of Hope. And what's interesting is that Herzog was supposed to have been on the same flight as Juliane. But for some reason, his a last minute change in his itinerary, he did not go on that flight. And the 2 of them went to visit the crash site later while he was trying to film this. And she sat in 19F.
Her chair's still there?
Well, no,
oh my God. Never mind. I understand.
This is why you're going second. Yay, it's already starting.
Oh no.
But she said it was therapeutic to sit in that seat for the flight. One thing quick, what some people felt could have been
sorry, I'm laughing at my own stupidity.
I know you are. People obviously are trying to figure out how she survived. And they're thinking that she had 2 seats on either side of her. And that it may have created a parachute type of situation so that it wasn't just a complete free fall, that she was lifted up a little bit. And then because of the dense Amazon forest, that it completely broke her fall. But luckily, she lost consciousness and she has absolutely zero recollection of any part of the actual impact.
Yeah. Well, and luckily she had that prior knowledge of how to survive and those survival tips.
Oh, absolutely. Because, 100% I would not have survived. One thing she kept saying is, I know that a lot of the venomous snakes here camouflage themselves and they just look like a pile of leaves. And so, she's also not able to see 20/20. And so she's just carefully stepping out with that foot.
Jeez.
I would have been freaking out the whole time. I would have probably died of just fright of being there. I wouldn't have known to go to the river. Now I know.
It makes sense. I don't know. You might have known that. You're smart. You can do deductive reasoning.
I don't think I would have in that situation. I think I would have been too freaked out. I would have tried to climb a tree or something.
Have you ever been in the kind of that life-threatening kind of situation of where to see if you fight, flight, fright, or fight, freeze, or flatter?
What's flatter?
Oh, it's where you try to like do everything schmooze to get your way out of the situation. That's a really loose interpretation of exactly what it
I
is.
schmooze a lot, so maybe that's what I would do.
Like, I don't know. I think people always like to think that, yeah, I'd fight or I'd find a way or I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there are some people that are like, no, I would just straight up curl into a ball and just lay there. I think at one point I would maybe curl up into a ball and lay there and then realize like this is how you're going to go.
Yeah. And then stop.
Right.
So my resources are history.com, Wikipedia, the YouTube video called, I think it was a commercial for The Revenant, and it's called Shouldn't Be Alive, Mauro Prosperi. And the article from the BBC.com, How I Drank Urine and Bat Blood to Survive is the name of the title.
No.
Yeah, it's so crazy that she was studying bats. Bats are also in my story. Mauro Prosperi was born July 13th, 1955 in Rome, Italy. Oh my gosh, just a year after your lady was born. Okay. In 1974, he began working for the National Police Force of Italy. Which
he didn't become an entomologist, did he?
He did not.
Okay.
No.
They're married.
Yeah. So in 1994, he participated in the Marathon des Sables, which is the Marathon of the Sands in Morocco. The race goes through the Sahara Desert and is 251 kilometers, which is 156 miles for us, long, which is to be completed in 6 days. He heard about the race from a friend.
Across the Sahara?
Through Morocco, like the Moroccan part of the Sahara.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing. So he heard about it from a friend named Giovanni Manzo, and they planned to run it together, even though Mauro had already retired. I heard what I did, and I don't want to fix it. He was a pentathlete. He used to do pentathlons. And so like he was always athletic. So Mauro...
What's a pentathlon?
He would do 5 different like Olympic
but what are they?
Events. Oh, really? I looked at it and I was like, I don't need to know this. So I'm not going to write it down. I don't know. You Google away and I will look. Okay. So Mauro began... You're
going to look at what?
Is that what I just said?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to look at the words on this paper and hopefully they come out of my mouth. Let's see. Jeez. Okay. Mauro began training by running 40 kilometers.
Wait, can I interrupt?
Sure.
So, pentathlon.
Yeah, there's a weird like TH thing going in there.
An athletic event comprising 5 different events for each competitor. In particular, a men's event involving, Mom would hate it, fencing, shooting, swimming, riding, and cross-country running.
Interesting. I wonder if it's like that Olympic event where you have to ski and then shoot. Did you watch that in the Winter Olympics?
Nope.
It seems so hard because you have to ski super hard and then calm down and cool yourself down and like compose yourself to shoot in this little tiny hole. I don't know how those.
Why would you need to ever do that?
Maybe if you were living in the mountains and trying to hunt rabbits. I don't know. And I don't know how it became a sport, but it was.
Well, that's why because I figured like there was a purpose to it, and that's why it turned into a sport.
I think there was a guy from Wisconsin in there. I think that's why I actually paid attention to that, is because they're.
Oh, okay, so they're drunk. I get it.
Their snowmobiles are broke.
Totally makes sense now. Okay. Got it.
Okay. Where was I? Okay. So he ran about 25 miles a day and he limited his water intake to make his body used to be feeling dehydrated. The race was so arduous, which I didn't actually cut and paste that word. That was all me, that he had to sign a form stating where you want your body to be sent in case you die. His wife was worried because he had 3 children under the age of 3. Nope. Oh, 3 children under the age of 8. 8.
Still, this is not
No,
an
still
easy
not.
task.
So, okay, on April 10th, 1994, the 2 runners, him and his buddies, took off running together along with 80 other competitors for this ultra marathon. The first 3 days, they completed 96 kilometers, which is about 60 miles. So what happens with it, everyone starts the day off together, but as they continue, everyone's pace is different and everyone's stride's different. And so kind of each person ended up running alone. Like they were still all along this path, but they weren't running like with partners or anything. And each racer was supposed to carry their own necessities and was provided water at the checkpoint station. So the necessities would be like something to cook on, like everything they needed that night when they stopped. So like a sleeping bag, food, a compass, a flashlight, all that kind of other stuff. So on April 14th, Manzo broke ahead of his friend. No, I wrote the wrong name. No, it wasn't Manzo that was ahead. I'm so sorry. It was Mauro. This is who the story's about. Mauro broke ahead of his friend Manzo and was in 4th place overall when a sandstorm hit. His plan was to keep running throughout the storm and he would be able to find the marathon trail again. The sandstorm lasted 8 hours. And so he thought that he would just keep running. So he ran the entire 8 hours while the storm was happening.
What?
Yes, right? By the time the winds and the storm had stopped, it was dark out. The sand caused his nose to bleed and injuries to his throat from breathing it in. So he finally decided to stop and rest, and he covered his face with a towel so he didn't have to breathe in the sand anymore. The next day he woke up, and he wasn't under shade or anything. He just stopped in the sand. The next day he woke up and ran for 4 hours. The next day, he woke up and ran for 4 hours in the hopes he would find the other runners. Finally, he got to the top of the dune. He looked around and he didn't see anybody, and he couldn't identify any of the markers from the race. His water bottle was also getting light because he would just fill it at the checkpoint, so he didn't necessarily have to carry water on him because they had it at the checkpoints along the race. He tried drinking it as slowly as he could, but he did become dehydrated. He remembered his grandfather telling him about recycling fluids when he was a soldier, so Mauro began peeing in his bottle and drinking it. As the time continued, he stayed where he was because that was the race regulations to wait for someone to rescue them. He saw the helicopter in the distance and it assumed it was for his rescue, so he fired his only single flare into the air. The helicopter did not see the flare. So the flare back in the day, it used to just be like a pen-sized flare. It's like a little poof up into the air. So now the runners, because of him, now actually have to carry a legit flare that can be seen in the air, which some of the runners complain because of the weight of it is so heavy, like so much heavier but it's, safety, saving your life.
Right.
On April 16th, he started walking, looking for shade and water for fear of heat stroke. He used his compass, but it did not help him because all around was sand. He walked for hours and came upon an abandoned Muslim shrine, which they were calling a marabout, which is similar to a chaplain. Like a marabout is supposed to, I don't understand what it is, but they called it a marabout, which is a Muslim shrine. He took shelter at the shrine for days, slowly eating his food rations, which were dehydrated foods, and tried to stay hydrated by sucking on wet wipes and licking dew off of rocks in the morning. He also ate bats and drank their blood, which, if you want me to read how I wrote that, he wrote, he also eat bats and drank their blood. That's actually how I wrote that sentence. That's not right.
I mean, that's my sentiments is blue.
I don't know how spell check didn't catch that. Okay. He saw a plane fly by, so he decided to make a SOS in the sand and create a fire for smoke, which he used his rucksack for. When he did this, another sandstorm hit, so the plane was not able to see anything. This storm lasted for 12 hours. Following another failed rescue, he wrote a goodbye message to his wife, and he slit his wrists with a pocket knife. He laid down to die, and he just waited, like he was just laying there. When he woke up the next morning, he found that there was not much bleeding from his wrists. His dehydration, the shallowness of the cuts, and the dry heat caused the wounds to clot instead of bleed out. Isn't that crazy? So it
makes sense.
It does. But so his circumstances totally saved his life while it was slowly killing him. So weird.
Wow.
This motivated him to try to keep living and be rescued. At one point in time, it sounded like it was during the same night. I couldn't tell if it was before he slit his wrist or after. It was really confusing because it was from like 3 different sources and it was him, whatever. It's just confusing. So at one point in time, his wedding ring fell off his finger into the sand, and he took this as resignation that he was done. But then as he reached over, he found the ring in the sand and decided that he could go on and make it, which I thought was super sweet. He decided to leave the shrine and would only walk when it was cooler outside. He walked towards mountains he could see in the distance, and he ate beetles, snakes, and lizards. He would also squeeze liquid from succulents and old riverbeds. On his 8th day of being separated from everyone, he found a puddle of water, which one article actually called it an oasis. So I think it might have been more than just like a puddle.
I imagine a puddle wouldn't last very long in the Sahara.
Right, exactly. So I think I'm going to go more with the oasis. His throat and his mouth were so swollen that he could not swallow the water, and he threw up at his first attempts at drinking it. So then he just laid next to the pool and would drink from it intermittently. The next day, he filled up his water bottle and he kept walking towards the mountains. That same day, he discovered goat poop. I think they described it better in the article I read. The same day, he discovered goat poop and followed the animal trail until it took him to a young girl who was tending the goats. He ran towards her. I was so sorry. I don't mean to laugh at this. He ran towards her asking for help and ended up scaring her, so she ran away.
Oh, no.
So then he looked at himself in a signal mirror that he was carrying, and he said that he looked like a skeleton because his eyes were sunken in so deep, and he just had lost so much weight. So the young girl came back with her grandmother, who then took them to their camp. He was given mint tea and goat's milk by the women of the camp. And they took care of them as best as they could. And they gave him food, but he was unable to digest it. And it didn't immediately, but it came back up. So then the women of the camp, apparently in that area, they live near military bases for protection. So from the camp, he was... See, another typo. From the camp, he was loaded onto a camp. He was truck, maybe. He was loaded onto a truck and taken, I don't know. So he was brought to the police near the military base. So the police blindfolded him because they thought he may be a spy. Like, this little girl's scared of him, but the police think, oh, he might be a spy. That's like huge dedication to that.
Nothing like an emaciated spy.
Right? What's he going to do? Where's the threat? So they blindfolded him and brought him to the military base where he was properly identified. Finally, he was taken to a hospital in Tindouf, Algeria. He had wandered 180 miles, 289 kilometers for our non-U.S. friends, off course from the track and had crossed over from Morocco to Algeria. He stayed at that, right? 180 miles. That's insane.
Wow.
So he stayed at that hospital for 7 days. His wife had assumed him to be dead until he called her from the hospital. His brother and brother-in-law came from Italy to help with the search. The searchers had found some of his items and his route, but not him. They did find the shrine and evidence that Mauro had been there, but they still assumed he was dead, and so everyone was just looking for a body. Mauro had lost 35 pounds, now weighing 99 pounds, and he needed 16 liters of IV fluids. He had damage to his liver and eyes, and he was unable to digest foods for months, so he had to eat soup and liquefied food. He had severe cramps for a year, but luckily, his kidneys were okay. After his 7 days in Tindouf, he ended up flying home to Rome, and it took him around 2 years for him to recover. So he ran the Marathons of the Sands 6 more times.
No.
After this, he placed 13th in 2001. In 1998, the founder of the Marathon of the Sands, whose name is Patrick Bauer, said he thought Mauro was lying about his whole experience. And this is what he said to Men's Journal. "Don't listen to Mr. Prosperi. His story is a fabrication." And it's a direct quote. "He will have you believe he is Superman. It is physiologically impossible for a man to travel more than 200 kilometers in the desert without water. This is a supernatural act. It's possible that he genuinely got lost for a few days, but all the rest rings false. We believe that early on he was picked up by someone, and then he decided to hide out for a while." Mm. He thought he could make a killing out of this if he prolonged his ordeal, like make a killing, like make money off of it. He thought he could sell a story to the tabloids. He aspired to be the star of his own movie. So that's what, right. But prior to this, in 1995, a Roman crew was doing a documentary and they retraced Mauro's steps. They found some of Mauro's possessions at the shrine along with bat skeletons. And in May 2020, Mauro published his own story in Italian with his ex-wife. Now they're exes just because of his lifestyle, but they still like each other.
Well, yeah, because she's like, you're seriously going to keep
doing crazy. That? Yeah. I can't support you while you're going to be crazy. Mm-hmm. But so she was a co-author. And the title of the book is Quei 10 giorni oltre la vita, or Those 10 Days Beyond Life. That is the story. And to end, to summarize this, because I thought that your story gave actually really good survival tips, and I didn't mean to copy that, but surviving in the desert. So if you want to survive in the desert, here are some tips from the essence of sea survival.
Number 1, don't go to the desert.
Number 2, don't run an ultramarathon in the Sahara.
Good.
So this guy, he actually there was another race that ran across like coast to coast of Africa, and he signed up for it. Like this guy he said he got, like, I think they call it desert crazy, almost like lovesick, like desert sick, maybe, of where you just need to, like, you have this weird infatuation and love for the desert. So he said he definitely had that. So that's why he kept going back so many times. Yeah. I've never seen the desert except for New Mexico. Is that desert? But didn't care to see it again. Thank you, New Mexico, though. You are very, very valued and wonderful state. I just, anyways. So surviving in the desert. Without water, death occurs about 3 days in the desert as the body dries out quickly. At sea, people can survive 6 to 7 days. Drink nothing for the first 24 hours to put your body into survival mode. Drinking urine is actually not recommended. It contains salt and urea, so will actually dehydrate you further. Seawater is even worse.
I was going to say urine has all the waste that you should not be putting back into your body.
Yeah, so I think probably the plants, the succulents, and the dewdrops probably helped them more than the urine. And the blood of the bats, of course. Ugh. Digesting protein uses more water than other foods, so is best avoided. I did not know that. Drinking blood may help as it is easy to digest and may conserve body water. Survivors at sea have drank turtle blood. So that's turtles. I was actually going to do that story of that guy, but I heard it on a different podcast, and I was like, I feel bad doing that one. So I didn't do the turtle at sea guy.
Louis?
I don't remember his name. It might have been.
The World War II guy?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I can't think of his name. He wrote the book. And the one and only book there is out there.
The Bible?
It was God. How did I not get that? No. Gosh, no, I can't think. He was an Olympian. And he ended up going to Louis
Armstrong?
No, he's Italian. He's actually also Italian. And he went into World War II. He was on a plane. The plane went down in the ocean. There were 3 of them. There was a movie made of it. Angelina Jolie directed it.
No, that's not the story is like about, I think it's a South African fisherman got lost, or Central American fisherman, and drank turtle blood.
Old Man in the Sea?
I respect him. He may have been a drunk, but he was well-versed.
So if you had to choose of where you were going to survive, do you think you would survive longer in the Amazon rainforest or in the Sahara Desert?
I would think Amazon. Even though there's all these predators and all that stuff to kill you, like the sun of the Sahara. Oh my gosh, no. I went to Death Valley. That is the hottest place on earth. That place is as I was driving through there, me and my husband were like, how did people come across this in like covered wagons? No wonder so many people died there. No wonder. Because I thought my vehicle was going to die. And I was like, what am I going to do? I don't have water. I'm going to have to eat my dog.
Okay. How about, would you rather spend one night with no like cover in the Amazon rainforest or the Sahara Desert?
Like in a cover.
You have water, so you can stay hydrated. But
both
you
places?
Can't, yes.
Well, it's cool at night in the Sahara, so I think it'd be fine at night. It's during the day that is
24 hours, like not just one night. I guess we'll say 24 hours.
I'm still Amazon. I don't know.
That 24 hours, I think I would say stick me in the Sahara for 24 hours.
And you could have all the water you ever wanted?
All the water.
Okay, then maybe Sahara. Less probably. Well, I would think they would have scorpions, right?
But I mean, are they really like...
Snakes? Snakes are cold-blooded.
Are they going to come up and bite you?
Oh, wait.
Snakes
are cold-blooded. They wouldn't live in the Sahara. Come on.
No, there are snakes in the desert.
Are there?
Mm-hmm.
I guess if I could have all the water I wanted, maybe Sahara.
Yeah, I don't know. How about...
Would you rather get lost from your trail or would you rather get dropped off an airplane?
Oh, gosh, that one's awful. The trail.
I don't know, because getting dropped out of an airplane is a lot shorter than getting lost from a trail.
Do I have a parachute?
No. You have
No, do you survive?
I don't know how either of these people survived, honestly.
I don't either. Needless to say, neither one of us would have survived either situation.
If you guys want to send in your how did I not die or your crazy childhood, what the heck were you thinking as a child stories, I feel like there was something you did to me that I should have died with, but I didn't. But like my memory is just not like, it's not going over the edge to remember it totally, but the feeling is there. You know what I mean? Like, pretty sure Ingrid tried to kill me, but I didn't die. So I don't remember the memory.
I don't know.
I remember sticking a butter knife into the toaster because I was trying to take the toaster apart because I wanted to see how it worked and it was still plugged in.
I think I straight up put it in the socket.
Because look at you now.
I was baller like that. I see your knife in the toaster and I one up you.
Well, I mean, the Christmas lights from when we were growing up, if you would have touched a broken one, you would have gotten a little zap.
Do you remember when we were at the farm? It was Janet and Jim's farm, and we were playing in the barn, and I jumped. Everybody was like jumping off this thing, and I jumped, and I landed right on a trap door. It wasn't a trap door. I guess a trap door? I don't know what you call it.
It was a hay bale door where you can throw the hay bales down.
Okay, so that was what it was.
But you landed on top of something.
It was the craziest way I landed. The cows were all feeding or getting milks. I'm not really sure
what they were doing either.
But they were all like, no, they weren't up where we were.
No,
we were
in the hayloft. We were in the hayloft,
and there was a pipe or a fence or something, and my feet happened to land perfectly on that, and the length of my body was perfect so that my fingertips were hanging on to the floor and my feet were resting comfortably on that pipe. So I wasn't even stretched out and I just landed just like that. But I had cows all around me.
I do remember that. That was actually really scary. I got scared for a second.
How did I get out of there?
I think we pulled you out. I think that's how. Because you didn't climb down. And then I think Jenny wanted to get down on it. Get down on it?
No.
Okay. So I think Jenny wanted to go down on it for some reason because I remember her being in on it too. And then me and Angie are like, you guys are crazy.
I wasn't crazy. I didn't mean to do it.
Yeah, I do. I absolutely do. Because we were hopping from hay bale to hay bale to hay bale. We were hopping all around that hayloft. And no one warned us about anything.
Did I slip or was I just jumping down to the ground to be done?
I think you were just jumping down to the ground. That's what my memory is.
That's kind of what I think too.
I wasn't like, I was probably like a quarter of the hayloft away from you. Actually, maybe like a third of. I wasn't right next to you.
Did you see me do it? Like, it'd be so weird to see somebody jump and then all of a sudden you don't see them anymore.
No, I don't think I saw you jump. I think I heard you and then I looked over and I saw the end result. Yeah. I don't remember seeing you.
Oh my gosh. I think I was more afraid of what trouble I was going to get into versus afraid of being like standing there amongst the cows.
Well,
I survived the hayloft jump.
And I survived running outside my house twice in the middle of the night when I was 8 years old.
I still can't believe you did that.
You're
so afraid
weird.
of the dark.
Terrified of the dark. I mean, I'm not so much anymore. Like, I still don't. I actually kind of embrace the dark. I like the dark now. I'm not afraid of it, but back then I was terrified. Well, thanks everyone.
Well,
now you learned some survival tips and
yeah. And if you have any survival tips you want to share with us,
help us not die. Help everybody not die. Share the survival tips.
Not die.
All right.
Well, this is getting released. You still have time to order a shirt from what did I call it? Top Body Gear.
Yes.
Top Body Gear for Hetty's fundraiser. It ends on the 28th of this month, so you'll have a little bit of time. And it's why would I not write it down?
The apparel's super cute. I bought some clothes for me and my husband from it.
Yeah, I bought some for myself.
I did.
I was.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think you can find the link again on our Facebook page, Another Situation. And if you go to our website, anothersituationpodcast.com, and go under the guest profile, if you click on Hetty's bio, there's a little internet sign. And if you click on it, it will take you directly to this page.
It's
where
Eagle
you can order things.
Promotions and Apparel is the name of the company.
Yes. But it's like Headstrong.
It is
something.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have it anymore either.
But anyway, it's on our website. So again, anothersituationpodcast.com, Hetty's profile, click on the little internet symbol. It'll take you there. Go to our Facebook page. So this is also a plug. We have a Twitter page, which really is sad. I don't know what to do with Twitter except for share my Instagram posts to Twitter.
I feel like I'm too old for Twitter.
Twitter is Another Sitch Pod, I think. I'm not really sure. That's how good.
Does it just automatically go from Instagram to Twitter? Yeah. Okay. So,
yep.
Okay. All right. Just follow us on Instagram then.
Right. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We have a website, and is that it? If you want to share your situations, find us on one of those things. Our email is anothersituationpodcast@gmail.com. And is that it?
Oh, I meant to mute myself for that. Sorry. I do believe that's it. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next week when we figure something out.
We don't know what we're doing.
Send us a message.
All right. So be survivors.
Yes.
And be happy about it.
We're so demanding.
And as always, don't be in a dickie.
Don't be in a dickie. I like that.
Bye.
Bye. If you would like to reach out to us or submit your situation, please contact us at anothersituationpodcast@gmail.com or find us on Instagram at Another Situation Podcast. We're also on Facebook at Another Situation.
Another Situation is produced and edited by 0.5 Pinoy. Music is written and performed by Tim Crow.